Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I will now give the floor to our moderator. So, good morning, everybody. I would like to say welcome here, but still, we are the guests here. This is the House of Made in Italy today, and we want to celebrate a really peculiar day, which is the starting point, but also the arrival point of everything. You know, the arrival point because the eternal city, which is Rome, will this year hosts the arrival of the Giro d'Italia in its 106th edition. The relationship between Rome and the Giro d'Italia is a love story, a turbulent love story, let's say, because Rome hosted a step of the first edition of Giro d'Italia in 1909. After 11 years, Rome concluded the arrival of the Giro d'Italia. Then there were a lot of things in between, like big love stories, which are turbulent in a way. In 1950, again, Rome hosted the great arrival, the last stage of the Giro d'Italia. Then again in 2018. This is to say that Rome hosted the arrival of Giro d'Italia just 4 times in history, which is a pretty strange thing. And this year, in 2023, we will have the 5th arrival of Giro d'Italia in this great city. We will now talk about the sport implications of this great event, for sure, but still, I'm old enough to say and to tell you, upon my experience, of course, as a journalist, to tell you how in the recent years I have seen in Italy, but also all over the world, I have seen a change of mind from your side. I'm addressing to you, the diplomatic representatives, but also the enterprises, a change of mindset towards sport activities. You've always been celebrating sport activities, of course, but still it was something like a bit set aside. But still, in recent years, I'm noticing a great collaboration in Italy, but also worldwide, a way of acting jointly all together, and a common feeling which is focused on the fact that sport can also be the driving force, a virtual driving force to increase our know-how, our way of being Italian, the way of acting as Italians, broadening our activities at the national level. This started a few years back, but it's work that we have to continue to keep on doing. So please play a tribute, a big applause to Vincenzo Nibali, who is your colleague indeed, because I can tell you that he is an ambassador of Italian sports and of Made in Italy worldwide. So today we will try to still define in a way what's the mindset towards sport and this great link between sport enterprises and diplomacy in order to enhance our creativity, the design, the know-how which really pertain, which really belong to Italy. While presenting the Giro d'Italia, we will now watch a video which is entitled Giro d'Italia 106th edition. sport events are useful to convey an important message while addressing Paolo Barelli before, who is also important in the swimming reality in Italy, in the swimming championship, which was also in Italy last year. We will also have the Ryder Cup, which are the most important event at the worldwide level, according to the share, according to the audience. But also Rome will also be the capital of volleyball during next summer, because Italy will also host the European volleyball championship, both for female and male championship, with the final World Championship, and also women will also be playing in several cities across Italy, also in the arena in Verona. So it will be a great showcase for Made in Italy. The Made in Italy is represented here today in Casa Italia, the House of Italy, represented by the Vice Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, who is really the host here, and whom I would like to invite here on the podium, Mr. Antonio Tajani. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I would like to, first of all, thank our journalists who introduced which are the most important sport events which will take place in our country the forthcoming months. So I would like to first of all thank Minister Santanchè, who is actively attending all the initiatives enhancing our country. Also sport events that can really be like a lighthouse attracting tourists to our country. Unfortunately, Minister for Sport Abodi is not here due to his personal engagement. He's attending a funeral, so he's thanking you anyhow. I would like to address and welcome the diplomatic representatives who are here today. We wanted to meet you today in order to show you one of the most important sport events taking place in our country, the Giro d'Italia, the Great Tour of Italy. This tour is also involving and touching other countries beyond our national borders. Just let me remind you some starting points, starting in Israel, for example, but in other countries of the world. Also, I would like to also imagine something different also. Maybe for the next year, it could also start from Ukraine. Maybe for next year, if the situation will change, it could be a great sign, a proof of friendship towards a set of countries which we support with conviction, and we are strongly convinced about our support towards this country. Why promoting such important events? And also here in this venue, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, well, really because we consider sport to be a tool for a foreign policy. I don't believe that the foreign policy of a country is just made of the minister and the diplomats, but the whole Italian system builds up the foreign policy of our country. You know why? Because the foreign policy also means paving the way for new friendship relationships, solidarity relationships, also good neighboring relationships. But it also implies showing your own ability in everything you do. Sport is also a big industry in our country, but not just in our country. Let me say that here we have exhibited at the entrance of this whole bicycle. Also, the industry of bicycles in our country is a pretty important industry, which is growing and blooming in our country, which is competing at the worldwide level. I was really pleased when I was in Japan for the G7 meeting a few days back. I have noticed a lot of Italian bicycles really used in Tokyo. It was a great pleasure for me. I was really proud for that. So we are here also to talk about growth diplomacy, which is linked to sports. Why not? The industry of sport is one of the milestones for our countries, not just for the turnover, but also for the quality it brings inside itself. We've also presented, and we are presenting across the world, the Ryder Cup. Also there, see, and around that big event, the golf event, and in this big comparison between the EU and the USA, which will be held in Rome, there is also a great industry also there. So we've also presented the quality of the industry, of the Italian industry working in the golf field. But it is also about tourism. See, there are millions of fans, of people who love these sports, coming from all over the world, following their champions, whom we were proud to host here in this city. So, dear ambassadors, you know that hospitality is really extremely important for Italians. We have it in our DNA. So, having the possibility of welcoming people coming from other countries, being diplomats or athletes or fans, tourists, is a great pleasure for us. So, see, so why this Giro d'Italia is so important? Not just because it's a great sport event, which is famous, which has a long-standing history, and it is now today celebrating his 106th edition with great champions, also outstanding champions of the past, Bartali, Coppi, and Vittorio, and many others, Moser, and many other champions who really marked the lives of all of us. Also I'm talking about Vincenzo Nibali, who is the youngest of these champions. We were really able to mark the history of cycling in our country. But still, see, the Giro d'Italia is also a way for showing Italy to the rest of the world, because sometimes it touches towns or villages which are still unknown to most of the people. See, our athletes climb on the mountains, they cross flatlands, they visit enchanting places, small towns, small villages, which are part of our cultural heritage, which we really want to make it known, to be known to the rest of the world. Just like another instrument which is envisaged by the recovery plan, and so what we called the project for roots tourism, which is focused on showing off the small towns which exist in Italy. So see how these sports policies are interconnected with our growth policies, our foreign policy as well. So we really want to promote, in a way, the Giro d'Italia also as a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in order to also show you and to show your countries, the countries you represent, the organization abilities and skills of our countries and of our capital city, that will host the last stage of this tour. It will end in Via dei Fori Imperiali, and in that place, in that great road, that in the following hours will be a parade of Italian soldiers, volunteering organizations, in order to really celebrate the Republic. So it will be really a great event which will be concluded, which will end in Rome. So really, while also presenting the Ryder Cup, we want to show you and to better explain to you what the Giro d'Italia is about, and really focus on the last stage, Rome. Because, see, Rome is one of the candidate cities for hosting Expo 2030. All these big events, Ryder Cup, the Giro d'Italia, and all the other events which will be held in Italy, but still those to be held in Rome are mainly meant to support the candidature of Rome for this great event, just like the summit on food security that FAO decided to hold precisely in Rome late July 2023. So another great event to be held in Rome again. So we really want to invite you now, Ambassador Massolo, to talk about our candidacy, because Ambassador Massolo is guiding the committee for Expo 2030, and so that you will really better understand this great mosaic made of a domestic policy and foreign policy implemented in a country just like Italy, which is really meant to play an increasingly positive role in the Mediterranean basin, in the African continent, but also in Latin America, but also in the Indo-Pacific area. We also want to be the spokespersons of peace, growth, and we are really ready to export our know-how and all the quality that lays in each and every single small and medium entrepreneurs working in our country, which are really the core of our economic system. And the sport diplomacy is also part of this growth diplomacy, because really, thanks to sport, our tourism will grow, and so will the industry will grow. Thanks to sport, we will also be able to present our champions who are the outcomes of great efforts, sacrifice, and they are a great example showing how in Italy is important to have such important people, such hard workers, but still we have it, but we want to export it. We want to make it known, and we want to gift it to our interlocutors at the worldwide level. So this is why we invited you to be here today with us, in order really to present to you the Giro d'Italia, which will also be part of our presentation of Expo 2030. I would like to thank Mr. Urbano Cairo, who accepted to be here today at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to also include this great event within the overall strategy for the foreign policy of our country. The Italian government has a foreign policy vision. Means that every single step is part of a mosaic that we want to build up all together in order to be the main players at the worldwide level, but also to strengthen the friendship relationships that we already have with all the countries which chose to send their diplomatic corps and open a diplomatic mission in our country. So thank you. Heartfelt thanks for being here again. Minister was rightly saying how the Giro d'Italia is an excuse for us, maybe at this very moment, to make known some small villages in Italy which are still unknown, and villages that we, as Italians, we do know, but for example, some others do not know. Germay, for example, is a cycling champion who won last year a great stage last year, the 10th stage with arrival in Jesi last year, and it was a great important event. It was indeed the first Eritrean cycling champion who won a stage in Italy, and now that city is strongly known in Eritrea now. See, it was a small town before that, but in Eritrea they do know that place now because it's linked to its victory. So we are working on these small realities, and the Ministry of Tourism is working hard for making these small villages known. But see, before we will watch this 15-second video.
Venuti a scoprirla insieme a me. Italia, ora in tu meraviglia.
Ministro, prego.
Minister, please take the floor. Good morning, and first of all, thank you, Minister Tajani, because you are always so careful about these important events, which are extremely important for our nation and for its growth. Thank you, ambassadors, who are representing so many countries in this hall, and we are so proud to tell you what Italy is actually doing. Sport events, and Giro d'Italia is one of the most important events in the sport panorama, in the sports landscape, because it's a great support for tourism, because we have noticed that a lot of tourists come here to follow sport events, and this is extremely important for us because it allows us to try and solve one of the most important problems related to tourism, which is that of the seasonalization. Because see, in Italy, we sometimes, and we too often, let's say, some have peaks of tourism and some other periods during the year where we don't have tourists. If we manage also through sport events to seasonalize this phenomena, this could be great for many workers involved in this sector. So Italians should be proud of their skills, because see, as Minister Tajani said, we believe we are champions in hosting. We love to host people, and this Giro d'Italia is a great opportunity for tourism because it will show new places which are not tourist destination. It's about showing hidden villages, hidden towns, but still towns which really represents Italy. I'm talking about small villages like those over 5,000 small villages where 90% of our and gastronomic excellences are produced. So it's also an opportunity to let the youth come closer to these great sports, and also inviting tourists to come and know our places, our marvelous landscapes, because sport is an extremely important part of tourism today, and Italy must and can grow up. I'm just giving you a few figures. Cycling in Germany is up to 20 billion euro. In Italy, it is equal to 5 billion euros. This could also turn into positive news, maybe, because nowadays we have a government which is showing now, but also showing every day, that we are able to work as a team, a government which is used to work as a team, going beyond its skills and competencies, but just focused on the final results. So when you work in a good team, and I hope that you can see it and you can grab this feature which is characterizing this government. When talking about foreign policy, we are talking about sport, tourism, industry, we are talking about in hospitality, we talk about a lot of other things, because all international relationships can evolve around these important events that we are about to host. Then I will conclude by saying just a few words, by saying that Italy is proving also through its organization that it's able to do it well. We will see it in the Ryder Cup, in the International Tennis Championship, the Jubilee. But I also want to remind you that the Jubilee will bring over 30 million tourists, and also there we will be ready to properly host them with our skills, with our great hospitalities, which is well known worldwide. See, it's there's a lot at stake for us. We're talking about the Expo 2030, and we have to increase our skills and to show our skills, to our ability, to show also our ability to work as a team. And I'm confident that putting all together our efforts and working for this great event will be a proof that we are able to do that, and that we will be proud of hosting Expo 2030 in Rome. Thank you. As Minister Santarché said, we are good at working as a team, and for this 2023 year edition, we will have enriched the activities, enriched from the press point of view, enriched also from the audiovisual contents point of view. See, because we live with this smartphones on our hands, so we need these new tools of communicating, focusing on sports as a whole, but also cycling, but also on the Italian excellencies in Italy. So I would like to invite President RCS Sport, Urbano Cairo, who is really the host of Giro d'Italia in its 106th edition. Thank you so much. See, I'm so, it's a great emotion for me to talk before all of you, before all these diplomats, and it's a great opportunity for me. I would like to thank Minister Tajani and Mr. Santanché for arranging this great event. I'm so happy for being here, and I finally see that Giro d'Italia, which is a great, an extremely important event with a lot of people coming in the streets, greeting the champions, like Vincenzo Nibali, who is the winner of 2 Giro d'Italia editions, but still, I love him so much. I was saying 3 editions, but still he won just in unquote 2 editions, but still. See, Italians are really proud of their champions. They go in the streets to incite them, to spur them, to give them the water. See, so there is a great implication, a great involvement, and this tour is also followed in over 200 countries all over the world. So a lot of people following these great events from all the corners of the world. So we have a great race, and it's 106th edition. And we are trying to improve the TV shots in order to make it more spectacular and to better show how beautiful our country is. So we are working for combining together the Giro d'Italia, which is a great and a successful event, which is known all over the world, combine it with a great country, a wonderful country with 70% of the artistic, cultural heritage of all the rest of the world. So it's the most beautiful race in the world. It's the hardest race. It is said by many, it is the hardest race in one of the most beautiful places of the world. So I was making a mess, maybe, but still, maybe you got it. And so it's a great emotion for me talking to you here. So I'm really honored to see that the Italian government and the Minister Tajani, Minister Santanché, they are really showing their sensitivity and their ability to understand how this event could be important and how this could play an important role in enhancing the knowledge of our country worldwide, and I believe that Italy is now ranking fifth for the number of tourists coming to our country. And with all the beauties we have, with all the landscapes, the artistic beauties we have, we can also aim at a better position in this laces. So by making the most of this Giro d'Italia, we could show our beauties all over the world, and this really could play an important role in promoting our beauties. So I'm really grateful to this government for accepting to show and to present this event. I always hoped that the Italian government would have felt this Giro d'Italia as an important Italian asset. This government is actually doing that. I'm grateful to the current government, and I believe that we can do great things together. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for this great opportunity once again. Can we just give you a news? Since journalists are here, Minister Santacchè will do that. Thank you. Okay. Okay, here I am. The news. Since I was talking to the organizers before, I was not thanking RCS before, talking about the importance of these events, the importance of Giro d'Italia, and the follow-ups on the territory from the economic point of view also. Well, the news is that as of now, the bookings, the hotel bookings for Giro d'Italia have reached 38,000 bookings in the hotels. These are important figures to let you understand why the government, as we are doing now, is supporting the promotion of these sport events, because it implies GDP growth. It also implies the possibility of bringing here people who come here for the Giro d'Italia, but could also turn into tourists in Italy, because just remember that in Italy you can drink and eat well. Thank you, Minister. Thank you for these official figures, which strongly supports what we are saying here. Because, see, in the Anglo-Saxon world, there is something which is called legacy, which is experiencing a sport event in that specific moment with a sort of legacy, which translates into kind of heritage. So bringing people who is meant to come back. See, in front of me there is a trophy, which is indeed a sculpture of Fabrizio Galli. And we again go back talking about the Italian excellencies, which is their design. What does it mean to receive it? What does it mean to also represent the fact of winning the Giro d'Italia? Once we had some champions which were our presentation card worldwide. How many times did it happen to you to be on the opposite side of the world, talking about the fact that you were Italian and you were answered, the country of Paolo Rossi, for example. Once I was in Argentina, I was in a taxi, and there was a person who was passer by, and I met a person who knew Vincenzo Nibali. I was in Argentina. So, see, Vincenzo, just now talk about your victories. What does it really mean winning? What does it mean to win it twice? And talking about the victories in Tour de France in 2014. So you can tell us something from within. And I'm also talking about other victories, the Giro di Lombardia and others, of course. Before, I told them that you are a kind of colleague for all these ambassadors, because you are the ambassador of Italian cycling worldwide. So, please, tell us something about your experience in exporting the Made in Italy all over the world. So, good morning, everybody. Wow, I'm so excited, and I'm also so nervous, but still I'm extremely proud for being here before all of you and having the possibility to talk to you, to talk to such important personalities, and to talk to diplomats about my experience. So the Giro d'Italia is hard to explain. I've always been growing while dreaming this trophy and also wearing the pink T-shirt. Well, I did it twice. So I won it twice. Still, I want to talk about the Giro d'Italia, that trophy, that race which enters houses, enters families, enters a lot of places, which is a stimulus for the kids, for the people, and which is a stimulus for starting a physical activity. Well, this Giro d'Italia in recent years has seen great winners. Calapaz, the Colombian champion. I'm so excited, so I don't really remember the names now. We have seen the Colombian champion, Egan Bernal. Well, these victories really enhance the importance of the athlete, but still they also enhance the importance of the country, Ecuador, when receiving the champion, going back to the country, had a really national celebration. So it was a great occasion for the country to celebrate him, but to celebrate also the country. So Giro d'Italia is not just about Italy, but it reaches out important other countries like Ecuador, Ghana, Ethiopia. We spoke about Germany. It's an international event going beyond the national borders. When I personally won the Giro d'Italia, I was position in an extremely high position at the press level, like the winner of the Giro d'Italia. So I was known worldwide. It's a wonderful race in the most beautiful country of the world. So thank you for giving me this great possibility and talking about my personal experience about the Giro d'Italia. Thank you again. You were really nervous. It's a great emotion, right? But see, we are seeing a new way of telling also from our side, from telling about this sport and telling about something new about the sport. You are humans in the way, with your weaknesses and with all your strengths, which are known worldwide. I spoke about this endless trophy at the entrance. Maybe someone didn't really notice that there is a bicycle outside here, outside this hall. But so please, when leaving this hall, just take a glance at that bicycle, because see, of course, it's not just a bicycle, it's a jewel. It is called jewel. It has a wonderful structure, which is handmade, which is made by the Conago. It's a frame which is decorated with golden leaf, which recalls the endless trophy in front of me. But this is to say that this bicycle is the symbol of Giro d'Italia in the collaboration with the RCS, but it's also a symbol of Italian made in Italy, which is the result of the collaboration among several Italian excellencies, jewelry, design, and other industries. And this is an added value to our Italian know-how. So let's now see this, let's now watch this video regarding the collaboration of RCS and the Italian Trade Agency. So you have seen some figures. Well, those figures really represent the power of Giro d'Italia as a virtual platform. Matteo Zoppas, the ITA, can really represent and explain to us. There's a great collaboration between Giro d'Italia and the companies you represent. So please take the floor. Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I would like to especially address my special greetings to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Tajani, and the Minister for Tourism, Daniela Santanchè, and also my special greetings to Andrea Bodi, Minister for Sports, not tourism, sorry, and a great greeting for Urbano Cairo, President of RCS, and Ambassador Gianpaolo Massolo, President of the Promoting Committee for Rome Expo 2030, and of course, this great champion, Vincenzo Nibali, who is a great representative of cycling, not just in Italy, but also all over the world. So great greetings, my best greetings to all of you. We have seen important figures, but there is a missing figure, which is about the number of people following. And there's 3 weeks, the Giro d'Italia, 750,000 million people following this event from remote connection, but also people following in the streets. This race which is now crossing Italy from north to south with a common leitmotif, which is that of sport. These are great figures. This is a great brand which worked 106 years all over the world, not just talking about Italy, but also bringing to all people to know our excellencies. I'm talking about tourism, territory, I'm talking about culture and food, and also all our excellencies. And I'm also talking about made in Italy as a whole, what we can do, what we can do better than others, maybe, and it also has great follow-ups on the cycling sector. This category represents almost 1 billion euros export. It's important to highlight that because when we promote it, we promote the Made in Italy in this sector, and we must know that we are the 8th exporter worldwide and the 3rd in Europe. So having such events, which allows us to promote our products through this promotion campaign, which are indeed important promotion campaigns, also supports us to show our products worldwide, so that when our entrepreneurs go abroad and present their product, they find open doors, of course. So ITA and RCS work together on the cycling sector. We are already collaborating on the Tour of Sicily, the Italian Tour, of course, and a lot of other activities, satellite events on cycling, on the cycling sector, and other classical tours like the one in Piedmont and Lombardy, and other activities which evolve around the cycling sector in Italy. So the collaboration between ITA and Giro d'Italia through RCS is a great promotion activity about which we are strongly convinced, and through which we hope that we can strongly contribute to what Minister Tajani, Mr. Santanchè have reiterated many times, which is our wish to host Expo 2030 in Italy. Thank you. We also spoke about the candidacy for Expo 2030 many times, so we can also imagine it as a real relay race for this great event, like giving really the relay for this great Expo 2030. So there's Giro d'Italia can also be a kind of relay race for the Expo 2030. So Please, Ambassador Massolo, President of the Promoting Committee for Expo 2030, please join us and try and make the most of this opportunity to explain to us why we should host this great event. Thank you. First of all, thank you, Minister Tajani, Minister Santanché, President Cairo, and all the authorities and diplomats and my former colleagues, diplomatic corps. And this is a great occasion for us because you see it marks a kind of this ideal relay race among important events, big events. But of course, I would like to spend a few words on our candidacy. Of course, this is a great occasion for me. Having all of you here, I have all of you attend today, so I have to do that. It's not our candidacy. It's one of a kind because it is based on welcoming equal opportunities and on long-standing collaborations. Coming to Italy, coming to Rome for Expo 2030 is for us the end of a virtuous path. It's not just a financial operation. It's not just about a simple collaboration with big companies. But it's just a possibility of paving the way for great relationships for the future, with a great European country having the access to a great single European market. And I believe I represent a country which over the past have always shown how profligate and fruitful can be the collaborations it offers. So I believe that this is an important chance for us, and I hope that when you will report about this event to your government, you will also highlight all of this to your government. I'm also grateful to Minister Tajani. I'm grateful to the government as a whole because it keeps on creating these synergies between my event, the event of Expo 2030. It's not really my event, but see, the event I'm promoting, and combine it with a lot of other satellite events because this highlights three important things. The first point I would like to mention here is our ability of organizing great events, big events, the Italian ability of mobilizing people, Italian ability of doing great things, maybe rushing up at the very last moment, but still we are those who are there, always there on time in the end. So, and often we provide for an important added value which differs from the one given by other countries. Secondly, the ability of giving to these events a great public and private connotation. This is showed by this event, President Cairo and government and President Cairo. I'm also the president of a committee where we have private players, we have also the government, local authorities of Rome and the region and others. So see, these platforms are business platforms, and Expo for you and for all your governments can also be an important business platform, a long-standing platform, and not just a hit-and-run occasion. It's an inclusive platform. And thirdly, there is also this idea of having this Expo as an exceptional tool for showing our country, just like Giro d'Italia and all the other things and all the initiatives supported by this Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also the government. So Italy, which is always doing its best to show off, to make people know it, working as a team, working as a united country. I would really be pleased if you could really be so kind to bear this in your minds when going back to your embassies, when going back to your press offices, if you could really convey this message. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, minister came here to remind me that we have a short video talking about the Expo 2030, and we are going to watch it. A wonderful video putting together the words of Ambassador Tassolo, but a lot of other concepts. So, Minister Tajani, you are in your office. Still, you're a minister, but you are a former journalist, and you will always be. So, what else to say about this candidacy, of Italy for hosting Expo 2030? So how to conclude this morning? This is the proof that Rome is the candidate that we offer to our guests. Because really it is a way for summing up what we have presented so far this morning. Of course, you are always and all invited to attend the arrival of Giro d'Italia in Rome in Via dei Fori Imperiali, which is really the heart of our country's history and our city's history. But see, Expo 2030 will also be the occasion and the chance for doing business. All our enterprises and our financial world, they all are committed in explaining and showing that Rome can be a place for combining together different interests, a place for entrepreneurs to meet up, a place for planning important initiatives for the future, and where joint ventures can be set up. Also a place where projects in the environment field can be set up, and the industrial field also, in the infrastructure sector also, but also in the banking and financial sectors. See, Rome can be all of this, and we can do this in an extraordinary place, in a location which is close to a great university, to a great hospital, so well-connected place, a location which is also close to the main linking road between the northern part and the southern part of this Italy, this long slice of land which is called Italy. So the Autostrada del Sole, the motorway which is called Motorway of the Sun, also passes through the official venue of Expo 2030, so it can also be easily reached through the motorway. So also for those who are willing to visit it as tourists, it will be extremely easy for all the visitors. There will also be this ring which runs around the capital city. There will also be a dedicated exit of this ring running around Rome, which will be connected to the official venue of the Expo 2030. There will be underground stops meant for the visitors of Expo 2030. So please consider, and I'm addressing to the representatives of all the countries which chose to be here today with us, please consider the opportunity of supporting the candidacy of Rome for Expo 2030. In the last few days, we had the debate examining committee to assess the conditions. And of course, there will be 2 tours for votation. We will also really welcome your vote. For example, outside the balloting, at the ballot. Also, still, I'm joking, of course, now, but we really wanted to show you what's happening in our country, the big events which are to take place in our country, the big events where we really want to invite your citizens, your fellow citizens from your countries, in order to let them know, to better know the country we love, a country that you know. And we believe that in this city, you feel comfortable, you feel like home. And we really hope that once back in your countries, you will really tell everybody that you felt like home in Rome. It's a great thing for us, because we really hope that you feel like home, because hospitality for all Italians is unavoidable and an unavoidable value, and we really care for it, and we will warmly welcome everyone coming here, the fans of Giro d'Italia, the fans for Ryder Cup, the food event of FAO, and we hope also the supporters and the visitors of Expo 2030. I would like to thank you. I would like to thank our moderator. She's a great journalist, former colleague of mine. I'm so pleased for being here, for introducing this Giro d'Italia. And I would like to thank this great journalist. Thank you for being with us here at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I will now close, Minister. And it's a great pleasure for me to meet you. But still, I want to thank all the speakers. I would also like to thank Minister for Sport, Andrea Bodi. He was supposed to be here, but unfortunately is attending the funeral of Senator Augello. So unfortunately, he can't be here today with us, but still, he was strongly supporting the organization of this meeting. So we would like to thank you, and Minister, and also Minister Santacchè. We are getting out a bit and reached, and I hope this will be a great starting point when talking about this great work which is being made by the Italian team, the Italian government. I see continuous work, which is work which is being done in Italy, which is becoming a real capital worldwide, sports capital, and we really request your effort in supporting us in doing that. But just to conclude this morning, we just missed one thing, the pink T-shirt. So while thanking you, I would like to ask Mr. Urbano Cairo to give you the pink T-shirt to you. So the pink T-shirt was handed over when I was in a mission in Israel, was handed over to Prime Minister in Israel, really because when he was Prime Minister in his previous mandate, the Giro d'Italia really started from Israel, so we handed it over to him. And I really hope that in the next year we will be able to arrange the starting point of Giro d'Italia from Ukraine, because it would be a great sign of the fact that the war is over and Ukraine is a free country, and sport is synonym to peace and stability. On the other hand, Olympic Games were born to build up peace. On that time there was not cycling, but sports can always and must always be synonym for peace. Thank you, Minister. So please go and collect your pink T-shirt and take your pictures outside. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.